These NFL players take some of the hardest hits you'll ever see, and trust me, you won't believe how tough they really are. There's something about a brutal hit in the NFL that gets fans on their feet, cheering and screaming at the top of their lungs. Maybe it's the raw power, the speed, or the sheer force behind it all. Whatever it is, one thing's for sure, a good hit is what keeps us coming back for more. And let me tell you, I've got some absolute monsters lined up for you today. We've all seen the highlight reels, the big tackles, and the crushing blows. But what makes a hit truly brutal? Is it the velocity at which the players collide, the precision of the tackle, or the way the crowd reacts? Whatever the answer, one thing's certain, these hits are what make football the sport we love. Football is a physical game, and by its very nature, it's violent. The sport's built on a foundation of strength, speed, and aggression. These athletes are some of the toughest on the planet, and they put their bodies on the line every time they step onto the field. So when you see a hit that's so brutal, so bone-jarring, it makes you wince, that's when you know you're watching something special. Football's a game of inches, where one big hit can change the course of the game. A defender who can lay the wood, as they say, can completely flip the script on an opponent. And it's not just about the hit itself, it's about the fear factor, the intimidation. When a player knows they're going up against someone who can deliver a crushing blow, it changes their mindset, their approach, and their entire game. Let's dive into some of the most brutal hits you've ever seen, from crushing tackles to helmet-to-helmet collisions, and even some of the most infamous cheap shots in NFL history. We'll break it down into segments, featuring the biggest, baddest, and most bone-crushing hits the league has to offer. From linebackers laying the wood to safeties putting quarterbacks on their backside, we'll cover it all. First up, we've got some of the hardest-hitting linebackers in the game. These guys are the enforcers, the ones who patrol the middle of the field and dish out punishment to anyone who dares to cross their path. Then we've got the safeties, the last line of defense, who will stop at nothing to separate an opponent from the ball. And of course, we've got the defensive backs, who will do whatever it takes to come away with a pick or a fumble. These hits are what shape the game, what makes football the physical, intense, and thrilling sport we love. From goal line stands to game-sealing tackles, we'll show you the most brutal hits that have changed the course of games and left players reeling. And trust me, some of these hits are so vicious, so jaw-dropping, you'll be on the edge of your seat the entire time. One of the most memorable hits in recent memory has to be the one delivered by Jamal Adams on Le'Veon Bell back in 2019. It was one of those hits that made you wince, made you feel for the guy on the receiving end. Bell never saw it coming, and Adams came out of nowhere to lay the wood. The crowd went wild, and it was one of those plays that set the tone for the rest of the game. In another game, we saw a helmet-to-helmet collision between two of the toughest players in the league. The hit was so brutal, so intense, it left both players stumbling around like they'd been in a car wreck. It was one of those plays that made you hold your breath, wondering if either guy was going to be okay. And then there was the infamous hit delivered by Vontaze Burfict on Antonio Brown, a cheap shot that sparked a whole lot of controversy and debate. Was it dirty, or was it just a product of the physical nature of the game? Whatever your take, one thing's for sure, it was a hit that left a lasting impact on the sport. As we take a look at these incredible hits, it's hard not to wonder about the cost of playing this sport. The NFL's been grappling with the issue of player safety for years, and it's something that's constantly evolving. Some say these hits are part of the game, part of what makes football great. Others argue that they're far too dangerous, that they put players' careers and even their lives at risk. Make no mistake, these hits are a part of the game, and they're always going to be a part of the game. But as we move forward, it's essential to find that fine line between excitement and safety. We want to see big hits, but we also want to see players walking off the field under their own power. In the end, it's all about balance. We want to see the big plays, the crushing tackles, and the game-changing hits. But we also want to see players being protected, being looked after, and being given the care and support they need to thrive. It's a delicate balance, but one that's essential to the future of this sport we love. So what do you guys think? Are these brutal hits too much, or are they just part of what makes football so great? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to suggest some other moments you'd love to see in future videos.